So can you give me, I know you mentioned it before, but if you could remember one more time, a line or lineage that came out of commandment keepers under the teachings of Rabbi Matthews, of rabbis that we know today, or the places that they open that are still alive, or some of their students, or some of the students of the students, if you have that recollection or that memory, the rabbis that came out of commandment keepers.
Okay. Most of those guys would be over 100 years old.
Right.
So many of them are not here. A lot of their children, that's why a lot of people like the Samuels, because they say at least the Samuels' children stuck.
Right.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you, one of the other families, they're not founding members, but the Levies. The right. Levy, yeah, Rabbi Levi ben Levi and his children are very much in law and very active. I'm just really proud of them. And they came later, but still, they are from that direct lineage. Okay. Their father was trained by Rabbi Matthews. Those girls grew up and knew Rabbi Matthews. When Rabbi Matthews made his transition, Shlomo was a little boy. Right. Or something like that. And Benjamin came a little later. I don't know if Benjamin was born or not. I don't know his birth.
He probably was born because Rabbi Matthew was passed away in the 70s, right?
Yes, 73.
Yeah, so all them guys were born in the 60s, I believe.
Babies. I know Shlomo was.
And I believe Rabbi Benjamin also. I think he was a 60s baby.
Yeah, 60s
he was young. He probably was young, but I believe he was a 60s.
He didn't grow up in commandment keepers because by then Rabbi Levi ben Levi had moved. Rabbi Levi ben Levi opened 2 temples. He was at Shalom first. Oh, right. And I found somebody very important, the early rabbis. Rabbi Clifford Woods. That was my father's classmate. And they always Clifford Woods. Reason why I remembered him, let me tell you, I have to give you some background on Rabbi Clifford Woods. Rabbi Clifford Woods, you know they were in Bet Shalom in Brooklyn?
Right.
Rabbi Clifford Woods is the one, a lot of people don't know this, made the connection with young Israel. You know, young Israel is all over, they're white.
Right.
They're all over the country.
Right.
Rabbi Clifford Woods is the one who connected with young Israel.
Right. Because
Rabbi Clifford Woods made the connection with young Israel.
Okay.
And eventually that's how Rabbi Levi ben Levi was able to get Bet Shalom.
Right. Also, prior to it being named Bet Shalom, it was a Young Israel?
Yeah, that was Young Israel Temple.
Young Israel of, I guess, Best-Stuy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever section of Brooklyn that is.
Right.
Yeah, yes, that was their temple. And what happened initially, when they first started letting them come and have services, that little room that sometimes when we have events there, we have people, we put the food in.
Right.
Well, that was like a little sanctuary.
Okay.
The little room was like a little sanctuary, and young Israel would be upstairs in the main sanctuary.
Right.
You know, a lot of the Jewish synagogues do that. You know, they have several places where you can do it, which is a smart thing too to do. Actually, you get a building and you outfit it where you can have more, if you wish, more than one congregation operating. Right. That's the smart thing to do. But anyway, another conversation for another time.
Right.
That's a lot of the Jewish synagogues do that.
Okay.
They have more than one space that you can actually set up. You know, they have their main
service.
Yeah, they have their main sanctuary, and you could actually.
That's when everybody comes in, and it's a packed house, and.
Yeah, and not only that, sometimes people on the regular have their own situation going on.
Okay.
I mean, it's a Jewish or Israelite congregation. It's not no Christians coming in there. Right. But you know, you might have a separate set of people. So instead of us dividing all the time, sometimes that's why I'm so hurt about commandment kids, because we could have done a lot with that. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story for another time too. I got a lot of stories. Right. But Rabbi Clifford Woods is who made that connection. That's, you know, like they talk about on the streets, connections. Right. And that's how
it's called networking.
Networking. And that's how they happen to be in Bet Shalom. And
Okay.
then after a few years, things happened, and then Rabbi
Levy Ben Levy.
wind up going to Queens and opening up what they have now, Bet Elohim. So it's Bet Elohim. There's a Mount Horeb. Those are the only two that's left because we had Temple Zion. We lost that when the father passed away. So we had at one point we had just along Lenox Avenue. We had three. We had Kol B'nai Bet Yisrael. We had Temple Zion, and Commandment Keepers.
Oh, and also Benny Adat, that was part of
Yeah, but he went to Brooklyn. Rabbi Levy, Rabbi Yirmiyahu went to Brooklyn. Yes.
Right.
Don't ever. Yes, he was one of the very accomplished Rabbi Yirmiyahu.
Right.
Not the most friendliest person in the world, but he had he had his skills.
Right.
I'm giving him credit for his skills.
I have to say I come from that branch of the tree, right? Because when you trace the lineage, Rabbi Matthew, Rabbi Yirmiyahu taught Cohen Levy, which in turn taught Prince Paul, and who taught me, one of my teachers. So I come from that branch. So maybe you might be able to hear some of the teachings coming from it.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear stuff that's familiar. I say, oh, and getting outside of New York City,
right?
You had Rabbi White's family was one of the rabbis. He's not one of the earlier ones,
right.
But his family is pretty much all gone.
Right.
He passed in 97. And then we lost both sons. Both of the sons passed away. Bill just passed away recently, like maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
Who knows where Jeannie is? Okay. Then what's important is we got to go we got to go, and a lot of people coming out of Ohio talking about they know this way. They probably learned stuff from, Rabbi, I love this guy so much too. He was an elder.
Okay.
Elder Gray.
Elder Gray
put that knowledge out in that area of the country,
So now we're making the connection.
Yes, Elder Gray was out in that part of the country. Rabbi used to go out there and train those people and teach those people. Elder Gray, very, very honorable and very faithful and loyal person. Elder Gray. That we can never forget Elder Gray. And then now we want to go to the Illinois area. Rabbi Reuben. Rabbi Reuben was an ordained rabbi, one of the elders. He passed away not too long ago either. And he took a lot of that knowledge out that way.
So Rabbi Reuben was from Chicago, and he was
trained
under Rabbi Matthew.
Yes, he has Smecca from Rabbi Matthews from the academy. Okay, and a lot of the people who learned stuff, you teach one, each one teach one, and they spread it out.
Right.
But they don't get the pure, you know what I mean? They didn't have the pure connect.
Right.
Yeah, Rabbi, don't ever forget Rabbi Reuben. And then out there in Harvey, Illinois, we always, when we talk about El Shikna, Rabbi Nolan, we always talk about Chicago, but he's the suburbs of Chicago. He's from Harvey, Illinois. He's still alive, incidentally.
Right. Someone wants me to do an interview with him. I think I need to do a Zoom interview with him.
You can, yeah, because I tried to get him here for the centennial.
Right.
Rabbi Nolan is his name. Okay. Harvey, Illinois. We call him El Shikna.
El Shikna. So he's the oldest surviving rabbi from that school, that came under Rabbi Matthew?
I think he might be. Okay. He wasn't trained by Rabbi Matthew. He was trained by somebody Rabbi Reuben.
Rabbi Reuben, all right.
Yeah, Rabbi Reuben. In that part of the country, you would have to say Rabbi Reuben, just like I would tell you Elder Gray. Anybody coming out of Cincinnati and Ohio and all those places talking about they know this.
Right.
There's I would say an 85-90% chance that they were taught or informed, even because some of them weren't exactly taught. They out here teaching themselves.
Right.
They were informed by somebody who came from that school of thought. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Because
Right.
that's what a lot of people do, and I'm not saying it's all bad. The
Right.
problem with that is you don't get everything.
Right.
You know, in other words, people discover stuff and they say this makes sense to them, but you don't, you're not getting everything.
Right.
You know, you're just getting bits and pieces, and you've got intelligence enough to say, this makes sense, and connecting the dots. But
Right.
formal training is another thing.
Right.
So, okay, so that's what I have to say. So I don't think there's anybody well, of course not from the original group, but even the second tier, like Yohanatan
Right.
and even Levy and all that, even the second tier.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone. Rabbi Reuben might have been the very last one.
Okay.
Because I think
That had that direct connection with Rabbi Matthew.
direct teaching, direct interaction. He might, because I think he lived longer. He's only been gone. I don't think he's been gone 5 years. Or if he is, that's all he's been gone. He would have been.
But Emah, you still here, and I think sometimes
I was one of the children.
yeah, but we underestimate the mothers and the women. You remember everything. I mean, you remember quotes from the man clearly, and you were underneath him for close to what's that? The 40s, 50s,
Yeah,
60, about 33 years or something like that.
he passed. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to absorb you got to absorb enough of what
No, you
Rabbi
would never
Matthew
know.
was saying to be a primary source of his
Yeah.
information. You know?
Yeah. I understood his thinking.
Right.
Is to know somebody. See, you know their thinking. You know where they come from. Anybody who know me, for example, know that I'm kind of a nationalist.
Right.
They know that if you don't know me, you will not pick that up about me.
Right.
But
I
people who
get you.
know me will know that about me.